Okay, so the axles that they sent were the wrong part, and the correct part for this Jeep are like wildly expensive. I don't even want to get into how much they cost, but anyway, so we are going to replace the universal joint to help the customer out, and there are a couple steps to it. It is a little daunting at first. Hopefully, I'll make it friendly enough that you can do it yourself. But anyway, let me get started on this. But basically, you need a bearing press, and you need a impact gun. I'm using the electric one versus the air gun, just because that's going to give a little bit too much torque, and I kind of want to control it as we're going across. So let me get to it. Oh, I'm also using, I guess like it's a plumber's helper tripod, and it seems like just about perfect to be able to put on here. Also, you want to get this little ring part off, and because you'll break it for sure. So it's kind of like a water dust guard. So basically I kind of like put a needle nose pair of pliers in here, kind of put some tension on that, and then I get a flathead screwdriver to kind of help push that apart. So like so, you just kind of get a thin one so you can kind of work it in here pretty good. Okay, so you work some of that pressure in there, and then just kind of grab a needle nose pliers, and then just grab down on this little part, and that should separate pretty good. And then there's one on the other side, so basically kind of doing the same thing. Down on that, push it in, get it started, and then work your screwdriver. Then on this side, kind of have it kind of open here at the bottom a little bit, and then boom, that comes off. Okay, so once you tap that clip out, you can get in there behind there with a flathead. And then basically just pop that out completely. And they usually fall, never to be seen again. But anyway, so that's kind of how you get that one. So I'm going to go back and start tapping this one out, and then continue on to the one on the back side here, and then one underneath on this side. So okay, so with the bearing press, what you're going to be doing is I'm going to be doing it from the side first, but for visual purposes, we're going to put that over there, and most bearing presses, you should have enough of a cup that you'll be able to get that cup of the universal joint in there. So it's a matter of just kind of like lining it up, tapping in with a hammer. But what I'm going to do is basically attack it from this side. So we are going to get this snug on here first and line up as best as we can, and then we're just going to kind of have it sit there like that, and then along the edges in here, so when we start pressing it through, we'll get that going. Okay, and then we'll spray down this side. Then a little bit here, a little bit on the outside, just to kind of give it a fair hit. And then I'll put the impact. I'll give it a couple spins, and then we'll see how it looks in a cup. kind of hard to see, but if you can see this, it's sitting on the edge a little bit there. So we're just going to give it a couple taps to line it up. Okay, so it should be good for now. Anyway, spin this around, lock that shaft into place, and let's give it a couple hits with the impact gun. Okay, we're going to look through this side. See that? Looks like it's still lined up pretty good. Movement. And then here, you see that pop. Pop again. And we want to push it all the way through. Okay, so we got the cups out. So we can loosen that bearing press. And then they should be loose enough you can take it out by hand. And then you can tell that one is basically rusted out, kind of destroyed. Okay, so now we're going to push this back in through the other side. Okay, quick spray WD on that. Spray some on the inside of that hole. Okay, so I had to reposition this, but we are on our way. Okay, so we're back through on the other side. Get that out of the way. And then again, this should come out relatively easy. If not, just grab a wrench, and you should be able to twist that off. And then that one obviously fell apart on us, but now you can easily slide both sides out, so that is free. And then basically rinse and repeat to get this side out, which will do. Okay, next I like to take a Dremel and a small wire brush and put it kind of like on low speed and a little bit faster than that. And then basically you are going in and out of this hole and basically just cleaning all the rust and buildup that's on there. And just a couple rounds through, and then we'll go through the bottom and same thing. You can also use like emery cloth or sandpaper or whatever you have laying around. Just don't use an aggressive grit, obviously just something a little friendly. Let me just get this one more time. Okay, so that's all you need. So that's nice and cleaned up. Headlamp off so we're not getting too much blurry. So this is your new universal joint. So basically the caps slide off really easy. So what I am going to do is again rotate this so like so. So gravity kind of gives us some help. And we are going to remove all the bearings. Get them out of the way, except for this one. And what we are going to do is basically get that universal joint in here and lined up. So it goes in nice and smooth. And then basically on this end, we are going to line it up pretty good. Slide that in. And then we're going to spray some WD on that. Slide that a little bit better. Get on the inside. Okay, and then with a hammer, I'm going to keep it like this. Keep some finger pressure on this. Give it a couple taps to kind of set it. And keeping your finger here and clear from pinch points. But this is how you are going to set it in. And I'm going to pull the camera back a little bit so I can get some decent swings on this. So you can kind of see. Okay, so that's going in pretty good. And on this side, you want to get the groove so you can put the C-clips in there. And I think that might be good enough. So let's get a little bit more light. So yeah, there's room to get the C-clips in. So we'll get one C-clip through the packaging first. And a lot easier when your gloves aren't covered in grease. Okay, there we go. So C-clip. And what we're going to do is we're going to push it into this groove. And it goes in as easy as that. Most of the time. And then over on this side, again, we're going to push that in by hand. And this one we're going to kind of angle up a little bit. And just give it a couple taps, make sure it's seated. That looks good. And usually once you get that flush, loosen my voice up a little bit, spin it around, and we're just maybe a little more quick tap. I'll use the peen side of the hammer and a little bit more. This side's usually a little more. Use a little more TSC. Okay, I think we have enough to get that next C in there. And then again, just kind of line it up here. And then just kind of slide it in. And if you don't have enough room, sometimes I take a screwdriver flathead. I kind of put it right on the end here. And just give it a couple of taps. And then make sure that's seated pretty good. And if it feels a little stiff, moving, just kind of give it some taps here, and then that should help loosen that up. So yeah, that's big time. Okay, let's put the other side on. Again, we'll get our again the Dremel. Clean some superficial rust off. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And we are going to, same thing. I'm going to slip that on, turn that side to side, clamp that down, give everything a good spray of WD-40 as I'm dropping tools all over the garage. Okay, so there we go. Get the other cap on this side. once we get that kind of tapped in and seated, that looks like we're good enough. And then we put the other C-clamp in. Good deal. Spin this over. Let's get that last cap in there. Ping. Close. Just twist that out. See if we're lined up good. Went pretty good. Check the other side. So again, that's where I think we're going to give it one little love tap with just rotate this around, make sure it's tight, not loose, but not super tight, and make sure that it's good. And I think that clip is not seated right here. And just bang that a little bit. Make sure that sits in a groove good. Okay, and then you're done.